Let's get into Friday feedback for the week. You can always write to me, info@davidpakman.com. You can also comment on YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, Substack, wherever. We'll feature all sorts of stuff. And we start with Craig Mills, who says, love the Make Truth Great Again, but don't use the red cap. Craig doesn't like, I actually have it here. Craig doesn't like my satirical MAGA hat that says Make Truth Great Again because it's in red. Listen, we have hats in all of the colors. If you want the MAGA style hat that says Make Truth Great Again in red, so people think it's a MAGA hat, but then they read it and they see, that's available. If you want it in blue or some other color to make it more obvious that it is not an actual Trump MAGA hat, we have that available as well. So if you don't like a particular color, certainly you don't have to get one, but a lot of people do like it, and they are flying off the shelves. Acrobatic Farmer wrote 2 comments about the show on the subreddit and says they pertain to his interviews. David never says thanks for being here. It's like a deliberate rule not to actually thank guests for coming on. Instead, he says, appreciate your time, which is fine. But everyone says, thanks for having me. It's a normal thing to say. David, why can't you thank your guests for being on the show? I'm so sorry. This is one of the most ridiculous criticisms I have ever heard of the show. Criticize me for sometimes getting things wrong. Criticize me because you don't like the cadence or pacing or story selection or schedule or whatever, okay? I only say to the guests that I appreciate their time, but not thank you for being here. Give me a break, guys. Give me a break. And then one other critique. His interview questions are too long and complicated. It's like he's trying to demonstrate his intellectual prowess by making a very complicated question. He'll set his question up for a full minute. You get lost in the question. They make little sense. His questions are too long and complicated. Maybe that happens sometimes. The guests mostly tell me they really like how I conduct interviews and they really like my questions. So I'm so sorry that it's not working for you, but I don't know about these critiques. I don't know. I appreciate all of them, especially the first one, though. I don't know. It's sounding a little soft. Tasty Dactyl wrote on the subreddit, daily reminder, dear liberals and progressives, please remember to take the time today to hate each other and become apathetic to voting. Please, bros, please remember, have you done your part in this subreddit today? Please don't forget to be divisive to each other as much as possible. Please. Thank you for listening. Yeah, listen, we're talking about this a lot. There is deliberate division being stoked in the left right now. Examples are people already getting into crazy arguments over people who haven't even declared that they are running. You wouldn't support Gavin Newsom, would you? You would support Gavin Newsom if he's the nominee, right? And the left is, as usual, ripping itself apart. I'm going to make a 2-part pledge to you. Number 1, I am not going to try to divide the left in ways that would only damage our chances of getting fascists out of power. I wouldn't feel good if I did that. That's number 1. And number 2, I am going to avoid the gossipy sort of terminally online nonsense that a lot of people are getting sucked into. And I'm going to avoid it for 2 reasons. 3 reasons. Number 1, I don't enjoy the gossipy intra-left sniping and attacks. I just don't, it's not fun for me to do those segments. I'd rather talk about things that are kind of going on in the world. Number 2, I don't think my audience likes it. And the reason I suspect that is sometimes when these rifts within the left have gotten to such a big place that I feel like I should say something about them, they perform terribly. And my audience writes to me and goes, David, I don't care about that crap. I don't care about content creators I don't even follow. Just do the show. And number 3, I think it's not helpful to getting fascists out of power, which has to be our priority. So this is not going to be the show for gossip attacks as we get into the 2026 and 2028 election cycles. Okay, Salty Portuguese says, love that you are uploading episodes earlier in the day. And another viewer says, it's awesome. Yeah, you know, we've tried a lot of stuff in terms of when we upload. And I've gotten criticisms from people who say, you know, David, if you recorded the show in the afternoon instead of in the morning, then it would feel more up to date. And the thing that I've explained many times is, first of all, we're not doing breaking news on the show. We're doing analysis. So sometimes it's not like, if 6 hours have gone by, it's kind of okay. And number two, if the show is produced on a 24-hour cycle, no matter when it's produced, there will always be part of the day where it feels like we're catching up or delayed or whatever. It's just going to be the nature of it. It'll just shift when in the day that is. But we are testing publishing the full YouTube episodes earlier. Some people seem to like it, which is great. We'll keep going. Marcy says about the podcast, 5 stars, my go-to podcast several times a day. Thank you, David, for keeping me informed. Well, thank you, Marcy. And just remember that at zero cost to you, zero cost, go on Apple Podcasts, follow our podcast, and leave a 5-star rating. Even if you never, like if you have an iPhone 11 or newer, you have Apple Podcasts. Even if you never listen to the podcast, you watch on YouTube or whatever, it helps us so much when people follow and leave a rating. And if you could do the same thing on Spotify as well. So helpful, so helpful. Okay, a user named Skeleton Francis Joshi Deal says, part of me wants to become MAGA so I don't have to face reality. You know what's so kind of funny and interesting about that comment? For a really long time, I have felt with like deeply religious people that there would be something appealing of going, hey, you know what? All the difficult questions of how and why did we come to be here, if there is even a why, and purpose, and what happens when we die, and all this stuff. It would be really soothing in some sense to just be told, this book's got the answers. You don't have to think about those difficult questions anymore. Just, we've got it. Here it is. And in some sense, I have long, I don't know if jealousy or envy are the right word, but it seems as though it would be a nice thing if you genuinely believed I have the answers because this book gives them to me. It's not in my nature, as many of you know. And similarly, I remember back when George W. Bush was president and he was doing so many horrible things, the Patriot Act and the war in Iraq and so many different things. And there would be people out there who would go, I stand with this president. This president is a patriot. Iraq is bad and we've got to go after them and we've got to keep America safe. And I remember thinking at the time, wow, I don't believe any of that shit, but there seems to be something nice, sort of like an ignorance is bliss kind of thing about just going, president's a patriot. I know he's got our best interest in mind. I'm standing behind him. And so I get what this person says. Part of me wants to become MAGA so I don't have to face reality. That one hits home. All right, Michael Edwardson wrote on Spotify, David, you said Marjorie Taylor Greene's name without her notorious moniker, radical and repugnant. It was hard to be sure if you were even referring to the same Marjorie Taylor Greene. We count on your consistency in much the same way that we always count on the ex-Congress monster to be vile. Yeah, you know, lately I haven't been saying radical and repugnant, reactionary Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She now would be former all of that stuff, but I have not been including that introduction. That's true. Jay Sack says, David, when did you get back in the country and how was the process? Yeah, so I got back from Portugal mid-February and it was completely uneventful. Just, I got in and literally nothing happened. And there was a sense of relief and also, damn, I wonder if I'm making enough of an impact. They didn't take my global entry, but my family was very happy, very, very happy that we were able to get in without a problem. and I will be heading out again soon, and we'll see what happens. By the way, I am going to be visiting my birth country of Argentina. If there are people in the audience who I should meet with while I'm in Argentina, I'm meeting with media people while I'm there. I'm meeting with business people, professors. If you are an expat, AKA immigrant to Argentina from the United States or wherever, you're doing something interesting, it somehow intersects with my work, please let me know, info@davidpakman.com. Fellow Argentinians, if you are in interesting industries that interact with what I'm doing, and we should get together, please email info@davidpakman.com. And then also, I might do a meetup in Argentina. And so if you're just in Buenos Aires, and you might come to a meetup if I did one, maybe at the great pizza place El Cuartito or somewhere else, let me know, info@davidpakman.com. Depending on interest, I might organize a meetup, and this would be in April. What a show. What a show. We've got a great bonus show for you and so much more coming up next week. Thanks for watching. Check out another one of our videos and make sure to subscribe so you